Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming again today, you're very, very welcome. I trust you enjoyed my last video on electronic music pioneer Gary Numan. And through his song We Are Glass, I looked at the fragility of the human experience. So I trust you found that one encouraging. Well, Gary apparently auditioned for this band as guitarist. Well, that's what legend has it. Because these guys were formed in Surrey in 1972 in the UK. So again, we're in the UK. We're having a string of UK bands at the moment. Paul Weller, Bruce Foxton and Rick Buckler. And these guys very much were in the punk, new wave, beat, soul, rhythm and blues. The guys we're talking about are the Jam. Now the Jam are pretty big in their very, very short space of time. Well, around 10 years actually. They had 18 consecutive singles in the top 40 and they had 4 #1 hits. These guys are absolutely massive in this short space of time and they well and truly knew how to write songs. There's a few little albums recorded around 1977. These guys supported The Clash, the incredible The Clash, and so they got pretty well known at that point. But because of some I suppose, incidences and things that happened, they kind of went down a little bit in popularity, but that all changed in 1979 when the single Strange Town was released. I've got the official clip of this one below. Strange Town is all about moving place. Now, moving can take on very many forms. It's physically moving, psychologically moving, emotional moving. There's all sorts of elements to moving, isn't there? Sometimes we need to move on in more than one way or another. So we've got the official clip of Strange Town. In 1980, the song Going Underground, this actually went to #1. This particular single, one of their 4 #1 hits that they had. And Going Underground, which was covered incidentally by Manfred Mann's Earth Band a little bit later. It's good to hear the original version, absolutely. Going underground is all about life. It's just too hard, so I'm just going to go underground and try and escape it. You know, put myself in my bedroom, put myself head under the covers, or perhaps I'll go underground. I might actually go out, but I'll just not engage with life at all, just kind of do my thing. Going underground is a pretty desperate play. Hey, look, life's not going so well. I'm just going to give it a bit of a miss. It's all too hard. Some people do get like this. It's all too hard. Life's just been too traumatic, and we've got to be very kind because, as you know, We Are Glass, which is the song from last time. Life is fragile, and we never really know someone's story. So we've got a live version of Going Underground. 1980 came the album Sound Effects, and the song Start went to #1. This song was inspired by the Beatles' Revolver album, Taxman in particular. There's some similarities for it, kind of stuck into the subconscious of the songwriters here, but Paul McCartney was okay with it. So we've got Start from Sound Effects. In 1982, out came the album The Gift. Now, The Gift was a huge album for the Jam. This album went to #1. In fact, it was in the charts for 16 weeks. So, very, very significant album. And just what typifies the Jam is just there's only 3 of them on stage: lead guitar, bass guitar, and drums. But they can really just they punch above their weight for sound, and so very, 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 very tight. The bass line in A Town Called Malice is pretty full on, and when you combine just incredible vocals and drums in there, it's a pretty compelling sound. This song just shows some maturity for the Jam from the early days of 1972. Town Called Malice, it's all about the town where we grow up and it perhaps not being so good. The town was not called Malice, but they decided to call it for the purpose of this song. We think about our relationships with our home, don't we? For me, home started in Kensington Gardens in Adelaide, and then we moved down to a little village, it was at that time, Hackham. And Dad had a job in the council for quite years doing building and health inspection. I suppose for me, home will always be that house in Hackham. I can remember no houses around us. I can remember the park across the road. I can remember the big tree. There's something about driving that street even now that I just think, oh, this place is kind of like home. And of course, the big tree's not there anymore, and the park that we used to play in has kind of been taken over by shops, and we just got this little thing now. But it was a really quite an amazing place to grow up. And then I suppose for me, home then moved to married life, and that's well and truly became our home. But home does change over time, doesn't it? We start to think our home isn't our home really. We start to think, actually, no, this isn't working, so I need to think about home again. But what is the concept of home? You remember the movie Miley Cyrus and the Hannah Montana movie? Funny where we go with these videos. That movie was all about her being so pent up in critical acclaim and success that she had to center herself by going home. And in her case, that was down in Memphis, Tennessee. Concept of home for me is an interesting one, isn't it? I think I don't have that place as such. I mean, when I go down Roberts Road, Hackham West, it does not feel like home now. It's not as the area is a bit different to what it was back then. It just does not feel like home. So you start to think about, well, where is it that I feel comfortable? Perhaps I need to find a new home. And well and truly, when I moved into this place back at the start of 2023, well, who would have thought that this would become a home? But it absolutely is home. It's a place I feel comfortable. It's a place where special people come and spend moments as well. It's a place where I can be myself. It's a place that can be a sanctuary. And I think home equals sanctuary, doesn't it? It's a place where we can go when we can go, oh. And home is also the home of life reflections through music as well. This video channel, we're pushing 600 videos nearly. So, the home is an interesting thing. I think we all crave it, don't we? We crave that ability just to be able to relax and go, oh, isn't it great to be home? Every time I walk into this place, I just think, this place is always here, ever reliable, just always waiting for me. When I finish this video, I'll chuck it on video editing, and then I'm going to make myself a coffee. So, home is where the heart is, and I think I can honestly say my heart is here. And it's good to know for all of us that, home is where we will make it, won't we? We will find a home at some point, because we all need that grounding in our lives. And so even if home wasn't so good growing up, you kind of find yourself passing by it from time to time, just remembering little bits and pieces here and there. So the concept of home is a beautiful thing. This is such an iconic song. We need both the official and live version of that one. In 1982, much to the surprise of the world, Paul Weller decided to finish up the jam, and much to the surprise of the other two, they weren't expecting that at all, and it kind of just came to an end. But between 1972 and 1982, there were 6 studio albums, 10 live albums. It just shows you something about how good these guys are live. 8 compilation albums, 7 video albums, 3 EPs, 18 singles, 5 box sets. And it's estimated they sold about 2.1 million albums. So in the scheme of things, which I've said a few times and now, in the scheme of things, also say, a lot, don't I? My apologies for that. But they have contributed to this collaborative legacy of this thing called music. And it's good to be able to give these guys a bit of a go today, because Paul Weller went on to join the Style Council. Will be a while until I get to those guys, but it's good to give the champions, the Monsters, successful band, the Jam, a bit of a go today. So the links to those 5 clips from the description below, and I've also included my last video from Gary Numan just for something completely different. But you're around the same era. We've certainly been around that late 1970s, early 80s period for a while now. Of course, we've done a lot of synth pop bands, and there was the early 1980s was when it was all starting to happen there, where we're still in the late 70s, early 80s with the Jam. Well, just for something completely different. So electronic music 2 videos ago, a bit of rhythm and blues, punk, new wave today. We're going to get on to virtuoso flute playing next time. And that's James Galway. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.